do you want to start this?
I don't know. It's your video, bro. I came to follow your lead.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't had a chance to meet you, kind of just who are you? What office are you in? Where'd you come from? And we'll kind of kick it off that way.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Okay, so I am Jaime Snapp. I'm with Coldwell Banker Professionals in Midland, Michigan. I'm in my 4th year. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
4th year. Okay.
4th year, mentorship, going good.
All right. And so I know you're with somebody else and you came over here. So where'd you come from and what kind of initiated the move?
So I'm originally from the Saginaw County area, and I moved downstate a while ago. When I moved back home from out of state, I moved downstate because I like more of a metropolitan lifestyle. You know, things happen and family comes first. And so you make that decision to move back home. And that is why I switched places. But I knew if I was going to switch brokerages, I knew what I wanted to find. It was just a matter of finding it.
Okay. And so kind of what were you looking for in a brokerage?
Okay. So I wanted more of I came from a very like turn and burn, cutthroat, make the sales. You know, you see Wolf of Wall Street and you think you're like, yeah, right, that's not real life. But in some places,
it is.
It actually is. And that's just not my speed. That's not my style. And so I wanted strong relationships where I didn't have to, worry about what was going on when I wasn't in the room. I wanted a brokerage that I knew would have my back if something came up and I didn't know how to handle it. And so I was looking for more of like community and like personality in a brokerage. I said culture before when we had spoken about it. I was looking for that culture, and that's it, basically.
Yeah, it's funny too because we kind of came from the similar background where that we were both on big teams and it was very dog eat dog mentality, very scarcity mindset. There were some agents that you couldn't even ask for help because they wouldn't want to help you because they didn't want you to think that they were going to take some of your business or something. So isn't that crazy?
Why would I help my competition?
Right? Why would I help my competition? That's exactly what you'd hear, right? Figure it out yourself. You're on your own, man. Like this is on you. So was that kind of the biggest difference that you saw initially when you came over, or what other differences did you see when you first came over?
I would say that was definitely one of the biggest differences. I know when I had interviewed with a handful of different brokerages before I left, just kind of a couple in person and a couple over the phone. And just the way I met with Lisa and Jeremy. Right? And I could just tell, I was like, they really want to make sure I know exactly what I'm signing up for. And they kind of, they broke down all the back end of everything. So I understood everything. They let me know that they do have like a closing coordinator that'll help you. They have a marketing program and just all these things. And I was like, well, I have all these on my team. And I'm going to get a better
split.
Yeah. I didn't want to make it all about money. But at the end of the day, like I was like, wow, this actually exists. So I was really excited after I'd met with Lisa and Jeremy. And I was like, I know I'm going to go there. I just didn't know when. And I think about exactly a month or maybe 2 months later, I called. You're going to crack up.
All right.
It was July 1st on a Friday.
Of course.
I called and I said, hey guys, I know it's 11 o'clock on Friday on a holiday weekend, but I have 2 offers I need to write and I need to switch brokerages.
Oh my God.
Do you think we could do this today?
Oh my gosh.
We did it within 3 hours, Alex.
Unbelievable.
I know. It was awesome, but it was teamwork. They all were willing to help me. On a holiday.
That's the difference, though. I mean, you have people here that are going to help you do that. And I don't know about you, because from when I was on the team, they always try to push into your head that you can't do it yourself. There's too much that is involved. There's too much cost. You need the resource of a team. Was that pushed on you too?
Yeah, I would say most definitely. use that we, use the team,
Yeah.
it's too much. You're not going to understand all of it. I mean, it was to the point like we even had kind of pre-written addendums. I mean, we do too, to an extent, but no, this was like you went by what the addendum you needed. You clicked on it and it was already pre-filled out.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
It is. I feel like I knew I had great training from that large team. I really did. And I knew what to do, but I didn't have the support, I guess, in order to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they didn't want, it was almost like working for a union. Have you ever worked for a union before? Okay. I have been a manager in a union house before when I lived and worked out in Vegas. And I am telling you, you are not allowed, and this was in restaurants, okay? You are not allowed to tell somebody to do something outside of their job description. If they are union, you cannot be like, hey, you see that napkin? Can you pick it up? If they're not a janitor. You have to call a janitor in, right? Weird.
Very.
Right? It's kind of like that. Like, no, stay in your lane. Let this person on the team do that for you. You know what I mean?
Everything's compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of like, okay, I know the big picture, but like I have no control over the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to call someone to be like, hey, I'm going to schedule, or we're going to order appraisal, or I'm going to schedule inspection. And they'd be like, okay, when is it? Like I had to fill everybody in on what was going on, but also stay out of it too. It was
That's so weird. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But I think part of the reason why teams are set up that way is because then you feel like you need them because there's so many compartmentalized places and you don't really know how to handle it yourself that you become reliant on the team itself.
I'm not going to lie. I was scared. I was a little nervous to leave.
So what really pushed you over the edge? Like what was like, okay, you're on this big team, all these resources, everything, you get top-notch training. What pushed you over the edge to the decision to make the move?
Okay. There was a moment where I had a family member reach out to me and she wanted me to list her home. And they pretty much told me no.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
It was too far north.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
So what did you want to do with it? Like
always Siri.
That was my computer, sorry, Siri.
That was amazing.
Yeah, right. That almost never happens, but of course it happens when we're filming. So like what did they want you to do with it? Just pass it to somebody else?
Pretty much. They were like, just send out a referral. I was like, for my aunt? You want me to send out a referral?
And so that was like the last straw for you?
Yeah, that's when I was really like, because we didn't actually physically move back to Saginaw County area until October. It was October 1st because we were in a lease.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the end of June, heading into July. Yeah. And I was fuming and I was like, just give me a little bit. I'll figure it out to my aunt, right? And of course, she's going to be like, I got you. Right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, what do I do? And then I'm driving back and forth, Alex, driving back and forth to show houses to a couple more family members that wanted to buy in Sanford. So, and I was like, I'm moving back home anyways. I need to switch brokerages. If they don't want to work that far north, I've got to find a brokerage who will back me and that will work with me so I can continue this career once I move. And so I started shopping around. It had to be middle of June. And I knew by July 1st.
Yep, a couple weeks. That's all you needed.
That's all I needed.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So now heading into this for almost 5 years now, what have you experienced in real estate? What's maybe something that surprised you about it? What have you learned through your career so far?
Oh my gosh, so much. So much. First of all, I am very lucky to have a hospitality background, and I worked for theme parks. I worked for Disney for a while.
Okay.
I worked for convention and different resorts with Omni hotels. So I already had the customer service and hospitality background, and I knew how to talk to people and how to read people, and that was super helpful. But I learned so much more when I switched over to real estate, how much your verbiage actually matters. And you have to use specific words and make sure they fully understand what you are saying.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's such a big deal. You're literally helping somebody do something that is either selling or buying the biggest investment, really, that they have. Most of the time, it's the only one they have.
Yep.
And so it's very important that you dot your I's and cross your T's.
Absolutely. I mean, they're trusting you to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And to your point, communication, the physical words that we actually use is only 7% of communication.
Right.
The remaining 93% is tonality and body language.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've demonstrated this multiple times, like I'm super happy to be here. I'm ecstatic, right? As opposed to I'm super happy to be here. Exact same words, different delivery.
Right.
So as a real estate professional, our clients are always looking for you to instill confidence and assurance in them to make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting the I's and making sure you're in complete control of the conversation.
Right.
So is that something you learned through the experience crossing over from, hospitality and service to real estate and kind of just had to figure it out as you went, or did it just kind of come pretty quick to you?
Ooh. I would say a little bit of both, because my first couple transactions, as soon as I said something or forgot to point something out, I was like, I gotta call them back because I don't think they understood what I was saying. But I tend to overanalyze everything. So it was a little bit of both for me, but I definitely feel more empowered with my knowledge with HRC Realty and how to explain things than I did when I was on the team. Because again, stay in your lane.
Yep, stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. Don't ask too many questions. Just this is what you're supposed to do.
Just say it.
Yeah, just say it.
Why can't you just say it? Yeah.
It's almost like they're annoyed with you that you don't know how to handle something.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Or it's like just
you're like a
figure it
month
out.
in and they're like, why don't you know this?
Yeah. That's kind of what happened to me. I was telling you before we started filming the ISA program. That was my role.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So 6 months straight, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturday. All I did was cold call people, which we all love to do, right? And the first day is, here's your script, here are the leads, smile and dial. We'll talk to you at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to figure it out. So a lot of this business is kind of figuring out through trial and error. But if you have someone like a mentor, or a support system in place that can help you avoid all the mistakes that you're going to make, that's just going to get you closer to your goal quicker, and alleviate a lot of pain, and stress, and problems, because we all experience it, right?
Nice.
So okay, other than real estate, what do you like to do? You got hobbies? Like, what do you like to do for fun? Do you read? Like what?
I do read a lot. I have a stack of books on my desk.
What do you read?
I read a lot of, you're going to make me sound like a nerd, but I read a lot of informational books. I read the Farmer's Almanac every year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I read about astrology sometimes just to try to better understand it. It's a lot of math.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I read, I don't know, a lot of psychology, but like we were talking earlier, I did go to college for marketing and management. I was a dual major, and you would be surprised how much psychology is behind marketing. And so reading a psych book is actually kind of fun for me because I find it very interesting.
I read psychology all the time.
Okay.
Because if you understand how people think, you can understand how they communicate and how they operate, and then you can relate to them better, right?
Absolutely.
It helps you understand how to actually relate and communicate with people. So I'm a huge proponent of that for sure.
Yeah.
Psychology and business go hand in hand.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was a really hard book to get through because it's definitely like a textbook. What was it? Speaking fast and thinking slow or something? I can't remember the exact title. I'll have to send it to you. It was very eye-opening as far as like reaction times with interactions.
Yeah, because I've kind of read up on that a little bit too. It's not so much about what you say, but it's how quick you respond,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if someone asks you a question and then there's like dead silence and you're just kind of sitting there with your eyes open for 4, 5, 6 seconds,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you say, they're going to not have confidence in your response.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not fully confident in the response, but you respond right away, that lets them know that, okay, they at least seem like they know what they're talking about,
Right.
right? As opposed to just lost in space and there's really nothing there.
Right.
You don't know. So I strongly encourage everyone to look more into it, just because if you understand other people, it's going to overall improve not only your business, but your communication and your personal style too.
Right. Well, understanding other people helps
Yeah.
you navigate how you should
Mhm.
behave.
Yep. And that's the problem or the mistake that a lot of agents make, is they always present or do business the way that they would want business handed to them, right? Not the
Right.
person they're dealing with.
Exactly.
It's not about you. It's about how the other person you're dealing with communicates that you should be communicating with them. I'm a
Right.
driver,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a high D. So, but if I'm dealing with an analytical or an amiable, someone on the opposite side of the spectrum, I not only have to slow down my rate of speech, I talk really fast too.
You do.
You do too.
Yeah.
So you're probably either driver or expressive, but slow down your rate of speech, emphasize certain points to make sure that they feel comfortable, because if you don't, and you talk to someone who's an analytical and they talk really slow and you're talking really fast, they feel like they're trying to take a drink out of a fire hose. It's too
Yep.
much.
Yep.
And you lose them, right?
Yep. Absolutely. They get overwhelmed and they're like, I'm not dealing with that.
No, not at all. So what has been your biggest challenge so far in your real estate career?
Ooh. My biggest challenge so far in real estate. Well, I would have to say in the beginning that I was time blocking and I was managing my time. But again, there's times where I'm very driven. I've always kind of been a workaholic, so to speak. But I would forget to time block family in and personal time. And I think it's important that everyone does that.
Absolutely.
Because you will, if you're driven, right, and you have goals, you will forget to make other people time.
Yeah. And I was just talking to an agent about this on Tuesday, actually. You know Jim Lorich, right, out of Lapeer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking about this because he's having a great year, but at the same time, he feels like he's not in control of his schedule and he doesn't have time for the personal stuff, right? So realistically, you should be scheduling your personal items first. Your family time, your vacations, all the stuff that you want to do first, and then your business fits around that, not vice versa.
Right.
Because if you do it vice versa and you schedule your business first and you try and fit the family stuff in, it ain't going to happen.
No.
It's just not going to happen. So prioritize that first, because I don't know about you, but we're all in business to make money, to provide and be around family and elevate your life, right?
Absolutely.
So why would you not prioritize that first when business is just a vehicle to get you to a better life for your family?
Exactly.
And people make that mistake all the time, which I think is crazy. So, all right, that's been your biggest challenge. What about your biggest success so far?
Oh, well, I did sell a home for about $60K over listing. And then that's a large number, right? But it's a seller's market. About 2 months after that, I had a buyer get about $20K in equity.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. That's a marketing thing right there. Are you kidding me?
I know.
You got both sides covered.
Yeah. It's all about strategy, though. I really enjoy real estate, honestly, because it's like playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is find out what's the most important thing to for your client and what their goals are, and then you can figure out how to get them there.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we do, is we solve problems for our people.
Yeah.
That's it. So what would you say some people maybe have a misconception, or maybe a brand new agent comes in the business and they may not be aware of anything? What is some misconceptions about agents that they should be aware of, or real estate in general?
Misconceptions of that we do nothing, that we just open doors and that's it.
Yeah.
We just hang out and go show houses and go out to
checks.
lunch.
Yeah.
And there's my millions of dollars.
Right?
Thank you.
That's not how it works.
No, not at all. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of communicating. I spend probably about 75-80% of my time on the phone and the other driving.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds glorious and it looks great when, all the TV shows are on there. But in reality, when you're on your 6th showing of the day and you're trying to shove a burrito down your throat in the parking lot or on your way from showing to showing, that's just not, that's the reality of the business, right?
Yep.
So it's tough. It's very tough. And really your first couple of years are brutal just to try and stay alive.
Listen, your first 2 years, plan on crying a lot. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Just buy tissues, put them in your car.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine.
We all go through it though. And I think that's a lot of agents' frustration is, delayed gratification. People's not their favorite.
Oh, yeah.
They want it now. They want I want success now. I'm 6 months in the business. I want to make 6 figures. Yeah, right. It's probably not going to happen. It's just not realistic.
6 months in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Your first 2 years are really all about survival. A lot of it learning, right?
Yeah.
Getting your foundation built, skill set, development, and just staying alive. And for me, at least, it wasn't until really my 3rd year that I really took off.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. So it takes time. Don't get frustrated. It's a long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to stay invested. So whether it's a new agent or an experienced agent, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, what advice would you give to anyone who's watching?
The work you do today only pays you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Say that to yourself every day. Because if you put off making the calls, if you put off doing the hard things that nobody really wants to do, you're not going to get the results that you want.
No, you're not. And it freaking blows my mind that people get into this business and they think, okay, I'm going to have my own schedule. I'm going to have freedom. I'm going to go on vacation whenever I want.
Yeah.
You don't have the luxury of vacations and time off really your first 2 years.
No.
You don't. You don't have the opportunity to do that. And I know it's shocking, but if you want to make a lot of money, you have to work a lot.
Yeah. Well, and I think the most important thing to understand is you are building that foundation of a referral business your first few years. So your first few years, you are boots on the ground, you're calling, you're doing the work more so than ever before. You really have to build that up because somebody you're talking to today might not be your client for another 2 years, but you have to follow up with them and keep in touch, send out Christmas cards, all of these things to stay top of mind and build your referral business.
Yes. It's follow up, follow up, follow up. That's the name of the game. And if you're not doing it directly via phone or text, you have to be consistent on social media. That's the only other way to do it.
Yeah.
Stay in front of your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Ideally you want to do both, but if you're going to do one or the other, if you don't like the phone, you have to be heavy on social media. If you don't like social media, you have to be heavy on the phone. It's one or the other, ideally both, but you have to have at least one. You got to be consistent.
Absolutely.
So we're already almost half hour in. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So closing thoughts, anything you want to throw out there, anything you wanted to share to anybody that's going to be watching from either the CV or C21 side? The floor is yours.
Keep your head up and keep doing the work and you'll get there. And don't be afraid to ask your colleagues for help because at least in my office, we are always there for each other.
Yeah, you got a great office.
We had our Christmas party last night.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I just love them so much. I really do. And whether it's something personal or professional, I could pick up the phone and call any of the girls or guys. We have guys in the office too.
Yeah.
And just be like, I just need to vent. Are you ready?
Yeah, right. And just let it out.
And we do it. We do. And it's great. And we have this, I don't know, sub-family, real estate family, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And that's necessary, but especially during this year was tough. It was a grind to get anything done. I mean, every deal that you had, every buyer, every seller you're working with, it was a freaking grind. So if you can have a support system in place, it's going to help you to not only keep you on track, but just sometimes to let you vent and get it off your chest. That's going to help you in the long run and help you survive those tough times.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was it was a fun year.
It was like nails on a chalkboard all year.
Every person that I've talked to, Yeah, some people have hit their goals, but I'm telling you, it was freaking rough.
Well, not only hitting goals, but like, I don't know if you've noticed this yourself or not, but for me, the last couple of months, every transaction was like
Yep.
moving at a snail's pace.
Yep.
And then you start to be like, oh, is something going wrong? Like, and then you start making all these phone calls and everyone's like, nope, we're still on track. It was crazy.
It is. It just, people underestimate the amount of effort it takes to get anything done, especially in a shifting or challenging market, which we're in now, right? So there's a lot of things that are going to happen next year, which will be interesting to see, but our success, our income is dependent on our individual actions on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what's going on in the market. It's all dependent on what are you doing day in and day out. Either you're putting in the work or you're not.
Right.
And the numbers are never going to lie.
No.
Numbers
I'm a
never
numbers
lie.
girl.
I'm a numbers guy too.
I say that all the time. Even when I was like a manager and involved in training like hostesses and servers and stuff, I would always say, numbers don't lie, people do.
Every single person that you talk to is going to lie. But numbers never, that's why I love numbers over people, because numbers never lie. They're very easy to read. They're not deceptive. People lie all the time. Because I'll have agents too that say, oh, I had such a great month. I did this and this. I'm okay. I'm looking at your numbers here. And what about this? What about this? What about this? Well, I had, So you can't, numbers can never lie. And either you have money coming in or you don't.
I know that's right.
And a lot of times too that we lie to ourselves. Oh, I can do this later. I can put this off. I have time tomorrow. And it never gets done.
Don't move your time blocks, man.
You can't.
No.
You can't. You got to be disciplined. All right. It was awesome to talk to you.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah,
Thanks
it was a
for
lot of
having
fun.
me.
I'm glad that we actually had a chance to talk face to face. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up and a comment. And anyone else that you want to hear from, just message me directly and we'll be sure to do it. So thanks guys for watching.
Bye.